Entrepreneurs aren't born, they are made through failures, breakthroughs, and relentless hustle. Welcome to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, 100 plus podcast stations. This is where visionaries share their unfiltered journeys, strategies, and game changing insights. Your success story starts here. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Watch, learn, and elevate. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, Season 3, Episode 9. And before I start today, I want to talk to you about leadership and career, because every one of us, we try to strive better, we try to get better, we try to maybe go to the next college so that we can land that new job, or maybe we try to innovate something so we can start that new business. But all in all, when you start your career, one of the big roadblocks that you may have is understanding your true purpose, understanding your true capability, understanding your greatest potential. And how do you do that? It's by being with people who are there, who have been there, done that. Is by understanding the economics of how to elevate yourself to the next level. Be in rooms that can take you to your true potential. So in saying that, I have a special guest today, okay? And I want to give you a quick introduction about him before having him on the stage. His name is Dr. Rishi Singh. He's an author, leadership coach, and organizational change expert dedicated to helping individuals and companies unlock their full potential through psychological safety, strategic thinking, and continuous improvement. He's also the author of Boundaries and Belonging, a powerful exploration of how people and teams perform at their best when they feel safe to speak up, take risks, and bring forward their most innovative ideas. With over 20 plus years of corporate experience within telecom and IT industry, Dr. Singh has led large-scale process improvement, lean management, and digital transformation initiatives that streamline operations and improve performance across complex systems. His work has helped the organization move from inefficiency and fear-based cultures to clarity, accountability, and high trust. Blending science-backed leadership principles with real-world business experience, Dr. Singh equips leaders to build cultures where people feel valued, heard, and most importantly, empowered to contribute at their highest level. His approach doesn't just drive better results. It creates workplaces where innovation thrives and people actually want to stay, grow, and lead. So without further ado, I want to have him on the stage. Hi, Dr. Rishi, how are you?
Hi, Rohit. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and it's a pleasure to have you on the stage. So I know I have given quite the introduction, but it's always good to hear from the man himself. So if you can just share with us how you started everything and your journey, and then we'll take it from there in the questions, right?
Yeah, thank you, Rohit. Thank you for all that introduction. And was you covered pretty much everything that I have done in my career. I started in the corporate life, obviously over 20 years ago, like you said, and I've been through many different industries, whether it's telecom, IT, or utility sector. Mostly, my career has been in the United States, and I've led major projects with multi-million-dollar projects that have led to digital transformations, process improvements, cost savings for the companies. But overall, throughout my journey, one thing that I really understood was that no matter what you're doing, whether you're in operations, whether you're in HR or an IT function, right? We do have this human side, right? Obviously, we're working with humans. We deal with decision making, we deal with biases, we deal with people's brain per se, right? It's just how people think and operate makes a huge difference in what the end product is going to look like, right? That is the key. And what I saw in every single job that I held, or every single role that I held, it really made a huge difference. Who is in the position of that decision making and who is leading a particular project or a transformation or a company. Again, it is a lot that falls on leaders, and that's what early on in my career, like I decided when I started my career within utility sector. I actually a year down the line, I decided to get a PhD in leadership and organizational change, and that kind of taught me a lot. Again, I was thinking on these lines already, to understand this concept better, understand this field better, that educational qualification, because when you're doing PhD, it's not just like an educational qualification. It's like you're going through putting together your research, putting together your own dissertation, understanding and coming up with a topic. And my topic of dissertation was around decision making in the utility space. And again, also that just not decision making, but decision making that can impact safety outcomes. And now we were talking about physical safety, but then what triggered me at that time was that it's not really physical safety that actually it starts with how people think, right? What's going on in the thought process, right? And that's where I started researching and reading more on psychological safety as well. That's what my book is all about: psychological safety, boundaries and belonging. Now we're talking in that book about creating balance. Like work-life balance has been a big issue in today's virtual world, as well as how psychological safety really merges with work-life balance. And that's why essentially the name is The Path to Psychological Safety and Balanced Living. So that's what the book covers. It's a lot of research that has been done in the past by other researchers. That my book covers and talks about a lot of concepts and theories that are out there. And again, something for leaders and individuals and corporates to read through and understand and kind of implement in their work life. If they did, it could really, change things around. And, it's how your teams operate and what's the end results that your teams are producing can actually get influenced quite a bit if we were to implement those theories in our day-to-day life as professionals.
Awesome. And in saying that, because I kind of read your book and I've been trying to market it as well, and I know it's a huge success already. And we'll put the link to anyone who's looking to learn about psychological safety and leadership in teams. This is an amazing book. So we'll drop the link, obviously. But let's talk about psychological safety in the simplest possible terms. Why do you think so many leaders believe they already have psychological safety when they don't, according to you? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting, right? Because a lot of times what ends up happening is that I'll start with saying, first of all, the concept or the terminology of psychological safety most of the times is not understood or is known by a lot of professionals or leaders or managers. If it is, then it is known in a way that a leader's responsibility or a people manager's responsibility is to be nice to their employees. And that's where they start thinking that since they're being nice to their teams, they're having an open conversation with their teams, and they're able to avoid conflict in their teams, psychological safety exists. That's the misconception there. So that's where people start thinking, okay, you know what, my team has, or I provide my team enough room to be able to speak with me or talk to me, and that is what it means to have psychological safety. Now, that's, like I said, it's a misconception. If we go a couple steps back, it's really not that, but it is what it is the not just providing that room for them to be able to talk to you and you being nice to them. It is also for you to be able to allow them to speak whatever they're thinking, not just about themselves or their career, also more importantly about the work and the company that we're working for and the mission that we're working towards, right? That's what is important, right? Now, in and I would like to, also go back and do a quick, check about uh, defining what psychological safety really is, right? It's not just about being nice. It's not just about letting people discuss their career plans and development plans with you. It is more than that. And what it is people to be able to share their raw ideas about the work product and the work that we are together in a workspace to perform. And for you as a leader to be able to hear those ideas, and not just hear those ideas, but be also working on those ideas and taking them seriously. Yeah. So in my book, this is defined, and there's like 4 different um, areas or concepts around this, like for psychological safety. There is inclusion safety, there is learner safety, contributor safety, and challenger safety. And what those really, I mean, these terminologies really explain themselves by their names. But what it really is, that when we talk about inclusion, you feel as an individual being accepted by your teams. Then there is learner safety. You actually feel safe to ask questions and engage in a learning process in your teams. And then there is contributor safety. You feel the freedom that has been given to you, and that whatever skills you possess, you're able to use those skills and bring up those ideas that can enhance the work product that we're working towards. And then there is challenger safety, that you actually have the confidence to be able to speak up and challenge the status quo that's happening within a company. So it's 4 different things. It's coming from 4 different angles, right? But if, in the simplest term, it's being able to speak up anything or everything that's going on in your head and present that raw idea. Because see, no one's perfect, right? You're not going to be perfect in what's going on or what's cooking in your brain, right? It's okay to actually make mistakes, but you should be feeling comfortable. You should have that comfort feeling provided to you by your company, by your leadership, by the teams that you're operating in. It's not just leadership role, right? I think one of the things that we're talking about in my book also is like Amy Edmondson, like, was the researcher who introduced this concept back in the day, was also talking about this is a shared team belief of risk taking. And that is what is important, right? It's not just that you're comfortable with your own leader or the person you're reporting to. It is also that you're comfortable sharing that in a group setting in that team. That is what also enhances your team cohesiveness. And the entire team brainstorms and works on that raw idea that is presented, and not just shutting it down or making a mockery of it, or that is what stops people from really speaking up and sharing what's going on in their brain. Because at times it's not, if they're not shut down by the leadership or the someone who is in an authoritative role, they're shut down by peers. And that is exactly where it all starts, right? It's supposed to be something that's a shared belief within the team, that it's a safe space for me to share what I'm thinking, how to progress in what we are all working towards.
Yeah, and I was about to technically ask that question, but you answered it anyway, so that's good. We have to run into a quick break, Rishi, but when we come back, what we will do is we'll talk about how do leaders unintentionally train their teams to stay quiet, and how that costs them millions. So we'll catch you up right out of this quick break, but don't go anywhere, right? We'll see you. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently, so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high-impact marketing and scroll-stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. So hello and welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and I'll welcome my guest on the stage again, Dr. Rishi Singh. And like I said, it has been a very insightful journey till now. But we're gonna take a bit more deeper dive into the blind spots, the problems, and the unspoken truth about what sometimes happen in organization that not only cost them a fortune, but their peace of mind. So in saying that, I'll quickly dive deep in right away, Dr. Rishi. How often are $1 million ideas lost because someone was afraid to speak, according to you? And what's your experience been in these situations? How would you tackle it?
Oh, that's a great question, Rohit. So, I can only speak from what I've seen in my experience, right? Again, how many times or how often is something that I'm sure it's the companies realize that at some point through their journey, right, through their life cycle, they do understand that there was something that was introduced that was shut down back in the day, maybe a year ago, maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, but we did not take an action or we did not take any action, or we did not take any steps to measures to actually work on those ideas. And then now we are nibbling on the same thing years later, right? So I mean, this is a self-realization that at times companies do have. It could also happen because of some leadership changes, organizational changes, top leadership changes that actually make like a culture shift within companies. One of the things that I do want to mention here is that it's whether it's like a $100,000 idea or $1 million idea or whatever the amount of money that we're talking about here. It's absolutely important when you talk in corporate sense that what is the financial loss, but at the same time, what also ends up happening with these lost opportunities is that you end up losing good talent in your companies too. So and that is also that also has some a number associated with it, a dollar amount associated with it. So that's something that companies don't realize when they're actually shutting people down, or leaders don't realize when they're shutting people down. So, going into, sharing a small example with you, right? It's one of the things that I've seen in the past. Again, worked with a lot of professionals through their, coaching assignments, hundreds of professionals that I've coached, leadership coaching assignments that I've had with. One of the, my clients that I was working with had been struggling with this whole concept of being able to open up at work, or, being able to share things at work. And they had shared an idea with their manager about, they identified a problem within certain reports. And they shared that with the manager that, this is what I've found. And maybe what we can do is we can start putting the report together in a different way, which will actually get us down to the root cause. And when we know the root cause, we can actually put together a better solution to make this a more efficient process for future. The person was shut down right off the bat because he was new to the company. And by just saying that, what, you don't know much, you're new, you got to learn first before you speak up or before you share these kind of ideas. So work on what have been assigned to you and don't tell us how to do it right now. So in a nutshell, I mean, again, maybe different words used there, but that person being shut down, again, caused demotivation, caused a lot of frustration within that person, and questioning their own ability and capability to be able to perform now, or analyze or understand the business that they were in. Now, one of the things that did happen there, again, I had like a very a long relationship with this client, wherein I was working with them over like a span of couple of years, on and off. They did seek advice and coaching from me, and what I really found out was, again, a very fascinating thing. A couple of years later, again, this person was still pitching the same idea, uh, but to a different manager, a different person now. And the company was more open to entertain that idea of really going down a different path, finding the right root causes, doing a full-on project around it, and understanding the key things that were impacting their processes, eliminating that waste out of those processes, and there were non-value adds which were considered as, uh, you know, uh, uh, again, people get used to working in certain ways, workarounds, right? Those are the things that the companies are impacted with. But shutting down your own employees led them to wasting another 2 years and a lot of like money that would have been wasted or was wasted throughout, because they still had those non-value adds within those processes were not taken out, because those were considered to be the right things to do or the right way of doing things with people's biases, right? So we were talking about how managers could shut down employees and not listen to them. Again, it also comes from their own bias, right? Where are they coming from? Because they somewhere start believing that the way the business is being done for 10 years now is the best way to do it, even though they might be seeing longer cycle times for things, or a lot of waste in their product, or less quality, deteriorated quality. They would still not question their process because of the bias that they held over years, that this is the best way or the only way to do this particular business. And that's what makes them really hard to understand where a person's coming up. Now, a lot of companies do hire consultants to come in, analyze their processes, analyze their businesses, and do that work for them that their own employees could have done if given the right opportunity and the right space to speak up, and their ideas could have been entertained too. Because again, at the end of the day, you're not hiring robots or workers who were just going programmed to do certain things in certain ways, but they're also a intellectual workforce that was brought on board because of their skill set, because of their qualifications, because of their experiences, so they could improve a certain company and take it from point A to point B. However,
Absolutely.
however, what ends up happening is that, like I said before, it's all human centric, right? Now, it's people's brains, people have biases, people are the ones who have the decision making power. It matters what variables they actually take into consideration when they're making critical decisions. And are those variables the right variables that will help them make the right decision towards the outcome that they're looking for, right? And those things are very much lost. It's most of the times gut feelings, most of the times biases that are driven by people's own experiences, the way they have, or their comfort zones, the way they have done things for tens of years. And that's where, uh, like you asked me the question, I think $1 million idea, or a $10 million idea, I think we end up making hundreds of millions of dollars, like lost in these things, because bringing on outside consulting firms is not a cheap thing. It's not an inexpensive thing. We do end up spending hundreds of millions of dollars in that too, just for someone else to come in and tell us what's wrong with us, instead of our own internal workforce to actually design and develop those things. And a lot of companies do that, right? It's not just one company that I might have worked with or you might have worked with. It's a lot of companies, because like I said, hundreds of professionals that I've worked with belong to various different companies, and pretty much had similar pain points when it came to them being heard, them being shut down, and again, that leads to frustration, which also leads to frustration not just at work, it also leads to frustration in their personal lives. And that's where the old, the work-life balance concept or the balanced living concept comes into play, because now it is impacting your personal life as well. So uh yeah, that's again, critical things that leaders, managers, companies need to start really paying more attention to. Like, a lot of times, you go into an operations and talk to an operations leader, and they would think that something like a psychological safety or inclusion or diversity are very much of HR concepts, and you need to talk to someone in HR about it, right? But truly not. HR, human resources departments in companies, are there to facilitate these things. But again, these have to be followed by leaders in all departments of the company, and it has to be driven by the CEO of the companies, right? It's not something that an HR person has to lead or run. It's not just that a leader in a technology leader doesn't need to understand how to make or implement psychological safety or provide safe space for their employees to speak up, or how to really have innovation, because again, providing that space leads to a lot of innovation, because when you're shutting down ideas, you're shutting down on innovation, and that's really impacting the business. It's not really impacting just HR. And that's where we have a lot of misconceptions rolled out there, that we really operate in functional buckets within companies, and don't think that those functional buckets are really impacting the cross-functional business model that we work in. And a human resources department is put together to hire new employees, to get new talent, which is again eventually going to be performing in operations, working towards the mission and goals of the companies, working towards the KPIs that are important for the company. At the same time, though, it's not there to actually foster a culture of psychological safety or innovation. It is for the operations to actually start doing that, and for those leaders to understand that these concepts around, which are human centric concepts, are not for just human resources departments, they are for the entire company, per se, as a whole.
And I also believe that I agree with that statement that it cannot be, when you hire people, they should not be robots, right? They should not be yes men. They should always come up with their own creative freedom, and they should have that environment that makes sure that they propel their services in a way that they're innovating. They're not just directing because they have a job to do. They're in it because they have a mission and they have a purpose in place. And I think that's all the responsibility of the higher ups to make sure people feel that way, right?
Absolutely.
And in saying that, yeah. And in saying that, we have to run into another quick break. But when we come back, we'll discuss again this same exact, and the most important thing is how unsafe environments start self-censoring and now fear of judgment show up in your meetings, your business, and every other area of your life, not just professional, but also personal. So me and Dr. Rishi will catch you up in the less than a minute again, okay? I'll see you soon. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high-impact marketing and scroll-stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show, season 3, and I'll have my guest on the show again, Dr. Rishi. And like I said, we have discussed about psychological safety, how it costs companies millions, and not just peace, but also revenue. right? But in saying that, let's take a deeper dive into understanding how do people in unsafe environments start self-censoring, and how does fear of judgment show up in every place in their life, both professionally and personally. So what's your take on that, Dr. Rishi?
Yeah, Rohit. So, I think I did touch on this a little bit in our previous segment. It's just, one of those things. Imagine you're an employee going into meetings every day, working with your teams, your boss, your everybody around in the company. You attend meetings, you hear different things, project plans. But when you really bring up things, I'll share an example of an employee that I who reported to me. And this was an employee, very smart, intellectual, very analytical, quickly could analyze a lot of different situations and things that were going on in the company, and would always have an idea to which could initially, right off the bat, sound like something that's, oh, he's saying way too much, right? That is out of my realm of authority, which means that I have to take his idea upstairs and talk to my boss about it, or boss's boss about it, right? Um, and then I would also think, like, why is he really thinking that way, right? Because again, if you want to foster a culture and you keep telling your employees every day, speak up, and when they speak up, you shut them down, or you don't really follow through on what they had really provided, it becomes hard every single time their idea is not being worked on, right? Like I said before, the raw idea being presented, now it is your responsibility to not just say that I've heard your idea. You also have to really work on something. If this is something that is going to help the company in meeting its mission or vision and their like key KPIs, or wherever it's going to move the needle, or maybe the idea needs to be refined more and more, that has to be done. Now, coming back to that same employee, I mean, I've been in that situation with that particular employee multiple times where they would have shared something, and I would have taken it somewhere, and it would have been shut down somewhere else, not with me, and I'm trying to still work on it. But then again, we work in a hierarchical corporation where I cannot go forward or move forward. I'm not in a position of authority to actually take an action on that. But I have to go back and tell that employee, you know what, this is what I have done with this. It is in the books, absolutely, but not a priority right now. It'll be worked upon. What I really started seeing over time was that this person started shutting down. Like when I had my one-on-ones with this person, they would really not say anything. They would really not talk about anything. And I started asking them questions. Hey, what's going on? Used to have a lot of great ideas. What do you think about this? What do you think about XYZ project that's been going on? And they would basically just come back and he would tell me that, you know what, Rishi, I really can't. I mean, what's the point? Even if I tell you, it's going to be shut down somewhere else. It's like, okay, now that's the work part of it. The other side of it was that this person is getting frustrated in his day-to-day life. And also now, because this frustration is building up, looking for other job opportunities, trying to move into like a different company, really trying to upskill themselves, not being able to spend time with their family. And all of those things were also happening in this person's personal life, right? So that's how it's impacting their personal life. Now, it's a trickle effect, right? You have something in your mind. You're not able to share that at work. You go back home. That has happened multiple times with you. You think that whatever you've gained, your experience, your skills, your qualification, it's all a waste because you're not able to really add value, move the needle, and you're only doing what's being told to you to do. That's it. You go to work, you sit in front of the computer, you clock in, you clock out, you do what's being given as an assignment to you. not using too much of your innovative brain. It's your innovative brain that is now just shut down, right? All you're doing is task oriented action, just going in, coming out, going in, coming out. That's the day-to-day life. And that makes life very monotonous for someone like someone who is who has a brain that likes to produce ideas, right? And that's where it becomes detrimental to their personal life. They don't have that peace in their personal life, that they're working with a company that actually appreciates and recognizes and values what they bring to the table, right? So it is very important, coming back to when we say psychological safety, how your question, right? How does it impact other areas of life? How does it impact someone's personal life? This is just one small example of it, right? That I'm sharing from my personal life, where working with an individual, this is how it went. I mean, similar things might have happened early on in my career too, right? And I've been through the same cycle, and a lot of people go through the same cycle. But do we really have to go through that? That is the big question. And how can this stop, right? I understandably sometimes certain things may not be a company's priority, or the way companies operate around the budget, they may not be a part of their financial budget that year. But then if it is still being considered to be put on some kind of a priority, or amongst the 50 priorities that you have, if that idea is worth putting in there, then it goes in there. But at least you should know and make this clear to your employees at the same time, as a company or as a leadership team, that these are the 5 priorities we're working on right now. And what you shared is very important. And yeah, it's a smaller idea that might impact priority 3 of our company, or it might not impact it this year, but it might be helpful in our next year's list of priorities, right? So
Yeah.
there is companies cannot operate on a short-term 1-year vision, right? Companies need to have like a short-term plan, a long-term plan of 3-year, the 5-year or 10-year plan, right? That's how companies operate. But those plans can also evolve based on what's happening outside in the industry. So they're not static plans. They can change based on how digital transformation, or just now in today's time, AI transformation is happening, right? A lot of tech companies have changed their course of where they want to go from where they were trying to go 10 years ago, right? So it's going to change. It's a constantly changing environment we live in. We should not, as humans, should try to keep our biases to the side as much as possible. Psychologically, human psychology really works on biases, because it's your experiences, your feelings that actually create those biases. But then when you want to be really fair and rational, you need to really try to conscious effort to put those uh, biases aside, that would not shut down your employees, and that would not make them feel as devalued or undervalued, which really helps them also grow, um, as in their professional life as well as their personal life, because they're now able to spend quality time feeling appreciated, feeling valued in both places.
Absolutely. And in saying that, just quick question before we, go into another break is, like, how do you how do you know, Rishi, that you're into a wrong environment as an employee, or even in the leadership position? That's one. And what is the long-term cost of staying in a place that you feel shuts you down, you feel is not ready to take your opinions, or you feel is not right for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would answer your second question first. I mean, that's really what we were talking about when I was really talking about the employees shutting down in their personal life and not being able to spend quality time with their families. And what happens in the long term is that the more you stay in that kind of environment, you have already started putting dents in your personal life, you have already started, feeling depressed, feeling frustrated. At the same time, you're not upskilling yourself, because what's really happening is that you're not even motivated to learn something else at that time, because your belief is now that, what's the point? What's the point if I'm never going to be heard? What's the point if, forget about, like, yeah, it's not that you're always right, your idea is always right. It's just about being heard, right? Having that feeling of being heard and your idea being entertained, at least, right? It's the
Yeah.
least thing that can happen, right? That your idea is being entertained, but then it went on a path but couldn't align somewhere, or was refined to a different level for it to be elevated and help with some other cause, or was tabled to really take care of other things in future. But when it seems like it is completely shut down, human brain, the more times it happens, goes into the frame of, what's the point? This is not going to take me anywhere. Anything I learn or upskill on is not going to help me, which really puts you in that kind of space where you were status quo. You're miserable at work. You're miserable at home. You're kind of always lost, thinking and processing, why did it happen the way it did, and that's what happens. That's the loss that uh, you personally have. Forget about the loss that the companies have or the leadership teams have, the innovation and all of those things, the teams. But again, you're losing yourself as an individual, because now you're losing your identity, because now you're changing and adjusting to an environment that is kind of hostile for you, which is like, okay, you learn to live in that environment because now you're in a job and you're thinking that, okay, I need a job to make money, right? End of the
Yeah.
day, that's why I'm working. I cannot quit this job because I need money. No point finding another one, because that's how it's going to continue to happen. Because it might also be that to find another one, you might have to upskill yourself, which you don't want to do. You're not motivated to do anymore, because that is just lost. So you're in this vicious cycle of just being stuck somewhere.
And I think it's a very toxic cycle to be in. I think it's a very not so good place to be in. And I think at this point, people need people like who can mentor them, who
Yeah.
can help them, who can be a strategic partner to them. And I believe that's what you do as well.
Yeah.
So in saying that, like I would also like to share, like if you can share with people in our show a little bit more about your services and how you can help them. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what I've been doing, Rohit, like I said, like over almost 6 years now. While I was in a full time role, I was doing this as a side gig. Then I started doing this as a full time thing. Worked with hundreds of professionals, like I said before, to help them, coach them, guide them, mentor them, right, to get to where they want to go. Right, there are a lot of times that there is a gap that they know of. There is a gap that they have not identified because they're just feeling stuck. How do you get out of it? So, uh, to put it very concisely, what I call one of the things is really leadership coaching in plain and simple words. What that helps you do is, again, understanding that leadership is not just about leading teams. It's about leading your own life, leading your own career. It is not just about leading other people. So it starts with leading yourself, right? So how you lead yourself, your career, and how do you go from point A to point B, whether it is about being stuck in one company and you want to go from one role to another, or it is from stuck in one industry and you want to switch industries. How do you really go about doing that? There is, again, strategic plan that you need to put together for everything. There has to be a navigation roadmap. You cannot just wing it. You cannot just go on LinkedIn and apply for all the jobs that you start seeing, or on other job boards, right? That's not how it works. There is absolutely method behind madness, right? For every single thing that you're going to do, you got to understand sometimes you're very impatient because you are stuck and you want to just that quick turnaround, and you want this to happen quickly for you, and all you see is job boards with all these job opportunities where there is already not hundreds but thousands of applications submitted. So again, I help individuals put together a strategic plan. How do you really go about moving forward, moving the needle within your own career? And at the same time, there is like, we talk about career development, right? You can also talk about career development where uh, again, whether you are a fresher, you are in your mid-career, how do you ensure that you have a career progression plan made for yourself, and it's not dependent on what your boss is going to put together for you, or wherever you're working, the company is going to put together for you. So a few things: it's leadership coaching, it's career development, it is also how you manage new manager, what leadership skills, what ways, styles, strategies you need to really take care of dealing with different people when you're not uh, when you have not done this before, or you're really struggling with some challenging personalities on your team. So I help out individuals with all of that. Uh, um, Again, some obviously success stories that I have, a lot of individuals who have really, you know, made a lot of progress in their careers, and yeah, try to help out individuals now. That's my core gig. Would love to help out anybody who is interested. So
Yeah, and we'll put the links on regarding the book, and also how they can contact you and how they can connect with you. So whoever is looking for the service, highly recommend it. And in saying that, we have to run into a last break, and when we come back, we'll have a very fun rapid fire with Dr. Rishi. I'll see you right over this break. As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently, so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high-impact marketing and scroll-stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur Show, Season 3, and I'll have my guest on the stage again. It has been an amazing episode, but now it's time for a bit of fun. So I'll do a quick rapid fire. The rules are simple. You just have to answer as quickly as you can, right? What's the one sign a workplace is not psychological safe?
one sign, I think I've talked about this before. You probably see status quo within the company and not moving, not making much progress.
Okay. What is the one thing leaders can do immediately to create safety?
Again, we're talking about psychological safety. It is providing room for your employees to be able to speak up, and the four things I talked about: inclusion safety, learner safety, contributor safety, challenger safety. All those four components should be present. So that's a quick thing. Leaders don't need to do much. Again, have a good conversation with their teams and make them feel appreciated and they're valued.
Okay. And one mistake most managers make that kills motivation, innovation and motivation?
Well, shutting down employees in a meeting room full of other peers and other managers. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what is that one sentence every leader should say more often?
relevant to psychological safety, I think what they should really preach and say more often is your ideas matter.
Okay. One belief that holds people back from speaking up.
Talked a lot about this. It's not just one, there's many things. Again, it is fear of retaliation, it is being mocked upon, it is um, consequences, negative consequences related to their professional career, growth being stuck. It could be a lot of, again, if you're hurting people's ego, a lot of different things. That's not just one belief. It's like, again, it's the belief. I think if I were to just give it one name, it is fear. So fear is what holds people back.
Okay, last question. Which is your favorite book?
Which is my favorite book? Okay, right now my favorite book is what's out there: Boundaries and Belonging, Path to Psychological Safety and Balanced Living. Again, it is not a lengthy read. It is less than 100 pages. It's a quick guide for professionals. I don't like calling it a book anymore. I mean, it's a guide. It's a guide for individuals to really go in, do a quick check. I think if you're a good reader, you might be able to get it through in like one sitting. Again, you're a professional, you will understand a lot of concepts very quickly. It's just stressing on important things that we should have already known. So
Basically, I'll put the link in your chat on how people can get it, and the link to the book directly. Worldwide, it's available. So if you're watching in the United States, in Europe, you have the link. Obviously, if in India, you have the link as well. So yeah, Dr. Rishi, it has been a pleasure. Any last thing you want to share with our audience?
No, thank you, Rohit. This has been great. Sharing my experiences. I hope it helps individuals in some way. And again, if there are people out there listening and hearing and watching this show, if they need help, I'm here to help. And I think the information's out there.
Yeah. And to connect with Dr. Rishi, I'll share his contact details right after this, and you can have it, and then you can talk to him, right? And it's all about, taking that next step. It's all about talking to that someone who can help you navigate the way, who can guide you, who can make you accountable, who can make sure you go to the next step. So if you're someone, Dr. Rishi could be the person to help you out. And obviously, you can have a conversation first. In saying that, it has been a pleasure, Dr. Rishi, and I'll see everyone in the next episode of the Empowered Entrepreneur TV show. Until then, go self-made. Bye.
Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empowered Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.